going to begin, though, Mark, with a true artistic renaissance man. Here is Glenn Rogers.
I made the mistake as a little rugrat. I told my sister, I said, Debbie, someday I'm going to be famous. I should have said rich, so be careful what you wish for. It might happen. Rich is better. I've been rich, now I'm just famous. I'm going to be rich again so I can disappear. But basically, I was very competitive with sports and stuff. I think I mentioned that, I was born a preemie. I had a collapsed lung. I had to fight for my first breath. So I became very competitive and very driven. My goal was, if I'm on the planet, then years after I'm gone, I want people to know I was on the planet. I think I told you, my goal is that 100 years from now, somebody shows up on the Antique Roadshow with a piece of boom art, and there's enough of all this media hoeing documentation we've accumulated, we at least get credit for being here. I have the longest continuously run, professionally trained, free entertainment on Orange Avenue. So this is like an off, way to hell off-Broadway gig as the boom art guy, basically. But I enjoy it, and everybody that comes through the door gets the same show. So sometimes I got to do material. If I had to think every time I talked in 15 years, I would have burned out years ago. I pretty much just ramble. Dead air means you're getting fired soon, so I got to keep rambling. Well, as far as artwork goes, basically, since I could finger paint with a diaper, I just remember painting, it was nasty. I would basically even volunteer for anything. Like if your school was having an election, you'd be the guy that made the poster. In 8th grade, my class, we all got together and we wrote the school song for graduation. And so to this day, they still use that at Valley View Junior High in Denville, New Jersey. I didn't really have something in the family that inspired me, but again, the competitive edge was the fact that when I was growing up, I had an older cousin who recently, actually, which is ironic, passed away on my birthday last year, December 20th. And her name was Jacqueline Courtney. She was a big-time soap opera star. I remember the family gatherings on holidays, and all I would hear were the aunts and uncles and grandparents talking about, oh, did you see what Jackie did? Did you see, oh, Jackie's getting a Route 66 or 77 Sunset Strip run-on thing. And I pretty much had a feeling that unless I was doing something creative, I wasn't going to be pleased with day-to-day work. But I did have a deep competition for competing with Cousin Jackie. One of the first big things that really professionally was when I did the floor for The Wiz. And I got to give credit for that for my grandfather. And he would clip newspaper classifieds, back in the day when you used newspaper classifieds. And he would send them to me in an envelope when you used to use envelopes. And because I had just graduated from New York School of Fine Industrial Art from advertising, and I was lucky that I was actually hired as one of the youngest designers ever hired by Congolium Home Furnishings in Kearney, New Jersey. I designed repeat pattern vinyl flooring, and it just was great timing that at the time they were commissioned to do the floor for the movie The Wiz. There it is, big shot. That's all really neat. And that was the first time I met Michael Jackson. He was 18, I was 21. And I got to be on set and watch him shoot the first day. They put it across the Brooklyn Bridge and filmed it. That was like one of the first big things that actually gave credibility to whatever I created, because it was a piece that people were familiar with. Then later I would do things like storyboards for Mr. Whipple, and I had done side things like writing for Saturday Night Live, and that came about because I was doing 99X radio, and that was with Jay Thomas and the Rick Hunter Show on WYNY radio. My thing was I was doing the Rick Hunter Show, WYNY radio. I was doing some sound effect stuff like cricket sounds on the air and stuff like that. Well, what you basically learn how to do is you schmooze the receptionist. So basically I would write down ideas of different concepts and stuff and pass them on to her. Actually, one of the first reality shows was The Loud Family, L-A-U-D. It was filmed on PBS. And it was just about following this family around. I don't even remember where they were from. And so I just took the concept and changed it to L-O-U-D, the Louds. And basically they spoke loud all the time and thought nothing of it. And so that was the basic gag of the skit. And so I was able to pass that on, and it got to Belushi and Aykroyd and stuff.
Our eldest daughter died in a ski accident.
I'm sorry, what happened?
Avalanche!
And the thing that was neat was my guest host on that show was Princess Leia, had Carrie Fisher, and the musical guests were the Blues Brothers. So it's pretty iconic moment of a memory that I have and an opportunity. But basically, again, it was just a matter of seeking realizing there was an opportunity, passing on an idea. I had many things that were passed on that never even got on. I've never done a national commercial. I've done a lot of regional and local type things. I've done character extra stuff in movies, but even though I had all this training in New York, I've never had a meaty role that I like to do. When Bill Murray did his directorial debut for Quick Change, where they robbed a bank, he's dressed as a clown and all this kind of stuff, he remembered me, and it was neat because he respected my ideas, even though, I mean, it's not like he says, hey, there's Glenn Rogers. He says, hey, I know this guy. And I got a good character extra spot in the scene when they're on the airplane and they're fighting over the bag of money and they're waving the gun around and stuff like that. Well, I look like this, clean shaven. I was the yuppie world traveler, and they're like waving the gun in my face and stuff, and I'm just doing reactions and stuff to it because I'm basically in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I'm Bill Warhay. I work at Rock and Roll Heaven. We're directly across the street from Glenn's store, Boom Art. I've known Glenn for, about 6.5 years pretty well. He comes into the store a lot, and we see each other out on the street, talk a lot, that kind of thing. He's a good guy. I really enjoy knowing the guy. He adds a lot of flavor and character to this neighborhood, the businesses around here. He adds a lot to this neighborhood just in general, you know. Folks, he's probably one of the most outgoing and friendly people that I've ever met in a retail kind of situation. I mean, he spends, especially when the weather's nice, he'll spend almost all day out on the street, you know, right out on the street in front of the store. And I mean, folks, he can just yak at folks for hours and hours on end.
Yeah, I ramble.
Hi, my name is Robin. I have Deja Vu Vintage Clothing and Accessories. I've been here for 25 years. Glenn Rogers, the Boom Art guy, he moved into the area about 16 years ago. I sometimes like to think I'm his fall guy because I'll set him up, and we do this together. He has a spiel that he'll give his customers when they walk in. It's about 4 hours long.
Because I'll talk a lot. Radio means dead air, you're getting fired soon. You got to keep going. Where the heck you been? Been waiting for you. Everything in here, my wife and I make from recycled found objects. We're actually both ex-Ringling Brothers circus performers. Did a lot of movie and TV work. We've had the shop now for about 16 years. We're collected internationally. We have a real big celebrity clientele, and it's all by word of mouth and a lot of publicity. I don't pay to advertise at all.
He'll talk and talk and talk until you've got one foot out the door. He's still following you out the door talking, you know.
And so I try to pitch out as much info as quick as I can because unfortunately sometimes people have a short attention span. You want them to have the information. You want them to know what you're looking at. Objects, we're both ex-Ringling Brothers circus performers, did a lot of movie and TV work. We've had the shop 16 years. We're collected internationally. We basically do all kinds of work. We do custom work and stuff. I mean, look around. If you see a painting or a piece of furniture, give you a painting. Half price or better, good deal on piece of furniture.
Working with somebody every day, 5 days a week, side by side, you get to know a little bit about them. And I would say he's quite an interesting and colorful character.
He's a very colorful character.
You gotta have a budget, pay off your protection guys, gotta pay off the mob. That's real life. You bring back any Australian people with you or anything? No. No? A little person flasher at a cocktail party, a midget at a cocktail party, and he's so small, he's bobbing and weaving, and nobody ever even notices him, you know. My wife and I, we like to go to the theme parks on the weekends and watch the people. We say we're watching the Freaks, Mutants, and Zombies parade, you know. It's just, if they don't tell us who they are, we'll make up a story for them. We'll sit there and make up stories. I have a protective dust layer on everything. Yeah, because I slack big time on my dusting, because if I dust too good here, I'll inherit the job at home. So I have to appear incompetent. It keeps it off the honey-do list. But I do ramble a lot. It's a habit from radio. Dead air means you're getting fired soon, so I will keep talking.
I do remember the day that the bird, we had a big crow, flew into a power pole right behind White Wolf right over here across the street and knocked the power out to the whole block. And when they saw the bird hanging from the wire, the bird had been electrocuted and was hanging by one leg from this wire.
Man, I can't wait for the weekend. It's looking better all the time. Overline safety. It's something to think about.
Glenn wanted to lead the charge to go up and get the bird so we could have bird sandwiches for dinner for everybody.
He has this amazing knack of being the dragonfly whisperer. You know, there's the cat whisperer, the dog whisperer. He's the dragonfly whisperer. He'll sit outside with his paintbrush and dragonflies will just land on them.
One of the things that I did was I was a clown with Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, the Blue Unit, 82 and 83. There's my face on my belt buckle there. And I'll tell you, no matter what anybody tells you, circus clowns are the hardest working people in showbiz. Basically, you're there hours before time doing come in and warm up and this and that. You do 13, 14 costume changes. If something goes wrong, you're the ones they call. The guy drops from the sky off the trapeze. You got to distract people. If the lion bites the head off Charlie Bowman, you got to go out there and distract the crowd. Then when it's all done, you got to go and do publicity. You got to take care of all the props and all the different things you do for your track gags. You do all the children's shows, radio shows, press, and basically you're probably one of the lowest paid individuals on the road. And you live on the circus train. You live in a 3 foot by 6 foot by 8 foot compartment, basically the size of your shower, like a roomette on like the Amtrak. And basically that's your existence. You might have 4 days totally off for the year. The rest of the time you're doing publicity, and if you're not doing publicity, you're doing laundry. Especially with Ringling Brothers, more so than like the European type circuses, you are a human cartoon. And if you watch cartoons, you get beat up. Well, you get beat up. Knock down the clowns, I'd fall on the ground, right? And all of a sudden I'd have 15 clowns run over me every day, 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how many shows we had. Well, yeah, after a while, yeah, your back gets sore. But come on, the people that leave the show, hey, you were that clown that got knocked down? Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. And my wife as well. I mean, she had tedious jobs in the past and stuff, and then she became one of the first female circus clowns with Ringling Brothers Circus in the 70s. One of the things that she always tried to do when she was directing the clown car, they were trying to bring clowning to a higher level. That's a losing battle. I mean, just the word clown is clown, you know? But to know that you were part of a fraternity of Clown Alley with Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, when you think back, that's pretty damn impressive. That's like being an astronaut. She was with the show for over 17 years. She became the director of the Ringling Brothers Clown College. And that's how we met. When I was with Ringling Brothers, we met. I married the boss, put her to work on my sweatshop, and the rest of all this is history because I never would do this. I was very structured. I'm still very structured. I was a punch-in, punch-out corporate design guy or a Madison Avenue agency guy. And my wife was a Greek girl born in Chicago, raised by gypsies and carnies. And she said, hey, the guy on the Midway always has a wad of cash, do your own thing. So basically, I'm the front, she's the grunt, and that's why it happened. She's the yin to my yang. She gets to stay home poolside and work, and I entertain America one person at a time and annoy strangers. I'm good at my job.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like riding
You're
a bike.
still good.
Once you do it, then you're used to it. You know what I mean? The thing is, people in entertainment, they'll tell you, just look at Jim Carrey, look at all these other guys, that if you can make it in comedy, drama's a piece of cake. You can cry on camera, that's Oscar material. I mean, anybody can cry, you know? I mean, that's the emotion. But if you can make an audience laugh, very few people can do that. And to do it clean, I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is just the fact that now we've had the Boom Art shop in Orlando. My wife and I started it 16 years ago. I think we have one of the longest continuously run art galleries in Orlando. And the secret, don't put the word art gallery on the window. It's like a cross between the Guggenheim and Pee-wee's Playhouse. There's a social interaction that goes on here. It's a clubhouse feel instead of a stuffy gallery. My wife and I came down here with a 75 Corvette, the money we had in the bank and a portfolio, and didn't know a soul. And now, because we've been doing this so long and with the exposure we've had over the years, that we actually get recognized at theme parks, restaurants, and the mall. I just discovered that we were listed 5th out of 153 art galleries in Central Florida. And this was the real kicker. I discovered we were 8 out of 10 museums in Orlando. There's like Wonderworks and the Manello Museum. I said, well, I always felt like a museum, but I didn't think people would actually like recognize that. I know people that have been in here like Robert Plant, Shaquille O'Neal, Carrot Top, Jeff Foxworthy, Steven Tyler, Tom Peterson, Cheap Trick, Freddie Schneider, B-52s, Maureen McGovern, all different people. Some of the celebrities that have come in the shop that have done work for or just come and hang out and stuff, it's not like I go bowling with these dudes.
He's a pretty private person when it comes to being outside of work.
Me and Carrot Top are not on a fishing charter together. And actually, years ago, I'm supposed to see this. Years ago, I became part of his posse. Elvis had his little logo that said taking care of business. That's one of Carrot Top's little things. So I'm part of Carrot Top's posse. We are lucky that we're one of the 1% of American artists to make their living from their art while they're alive. So I'm thankful. I say, wow, we're doing better than Van Gogh. I sell something every day and I have both of my ears. So, you know, it beats real work, you know? Anything that's not real work, it's showbiz. I do a lot of boom pop graphics, baby boomer nostalgic images, because it's something that I'm familiar with and know growing up in the 60s and 70s and stuff. But it's also a feel-good reminiscent thing, keep people in touch with their inner child, because that's where your creativity comes from and things of that sort. And I try to make it affordable. I sell original paintings for less than what people sell signed prints. I have things from like $2 or $1 up to thousands of dollars, just because sometimes people just want a special, unique little gift to give somebody. So we put them in the hand-painted bag, signed and dated, pack of Smarties, and send them on their way. They don't even have to wrap anything. It's great. Good kiss-up gift. And makes you a hero maybe to somebody, makes them look good. Everybody wants to be special. If they say they don't, they're lying. The other part of it is what I call artist choice. When I do canvases, for the most part, it's what I just like to do or want to do. Then I also do commission work for people where they'll bring me furniture, luggage, lampshades, guitars, surfboards, mannequins, small children, anything at all. And then I custom paint any style or design that they want.
And of all things, we also have a piece of Glenn's art here in the store, which is one of our customers' favorite things. And when they ask where it came from, we can send them across the street. Yeah, quite the Madonna chair. I think you can tell what Glenn was interested in when he did this piece, huh?
Plastic is forever. That when I was a kid, they promised the world would be like the Jetsons. We're getting Mad Max, okay? And ironically, I'm one of the ultimate recyclers, but I use the enemy of the planet, plastic, to do it. Plastic is forever. So, oh yeah, by the way, Mother's Day coming up. Nothing says Mother's Day better than plastic. Boom art. So keep me in mind. I'm a media hoe, I admit it. But, you know, the only ones that make money with advertising are the ones that sell it. So
I remember when he was trying to get a piece of his work onto one of the space shuttles to go on a space mission. So he can have a boom art piece in space, too.
Want to see the masterpiece? This is actually my favorite piece. It's probably the most expensive single piece I've ever done for a couple reasons. One, the rule in my house is if I keep a piece, I have to give up a piece. If I get a new toy, something's got to go. All my large pieces I'm attached to, I don't want to give anything up. So I'm in no hurry to move this on. But this piece here is called Naked with Socks. It can never be reproduced for two reasons. One, the girl is all airbrushed, And basically I hate doing any kind of airbrush because I don't even like to measure stuff. And 2, it contains circus memorabilia. These Argyle socks I've seen in the whole United States. I've worn them in 1982 and 83 with Ringling Brothers. I also performed at the White House for President Reagan wearing those. And the story is, when my wife gets out of the shower, the first thing she does, she puts her socks on. I said, that's pretty dumb. I said, I would think you want to protect upstairs or downstairs. She says, no, I want to make sure my feet don't get dirty. I said, I tell you what, I'll do a painting, I'll call it Naked with Socks. When it sells, I'll buy you a new minivan. So this is basically a Grand Caravan or a Town and Country with stone go seating. It's 3 foot by 4 foot on a thick gallery wrapped canvas. So basically, this would have to be my favorite piece that's at least in the shop right now. Don't do this for the money. You don't get into any kind of creative field for the money. I do it because I like to create, I can't keep everything, and this has been my outlet. It's just the nature of, you're a competitive, creative person, you always want to do something else. And so you always want to challenge your ability to see what it is that you can come up with. And so basically, creativity knows no boundary, really. If you're a creative person, you'll be able to create no matter what the medium is.
Well, one thing I can do is golf, and you know what I found out, guys? You can golf even in your own backyard. This is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. Let's take a quick look. First of all, coming over here to Rogers Resort, say hi to Glenn, Sandy, and Joey. It's great to see you guys. Tell me a little about the idea that you had, Glenn.
It's the Rinky Dink Links backyard miniature golf course, and we want everybody to just play around at home. There's no nepotism. I'm out here naked putting on a show, and that's all there is. It's like what we do here. It's for RL&L, recognition, lifestyle, and legacy. So if I can plant a memory, if I can entertain, inspire, or motivate somebody to tap into their creativity or to their dream and to have them pursue something they really want to do, then I feel I've been successful. I basically do what I enjoy. I give the best attention I can to anybody that comes through the door, whether it's a homeless dude or the Pope, and you just roll the dice and hopefully something good comes from it and it's something memorable so that people will pass that word on to others. That's how you exist. Survival of only the paranoid survive. That's basically what it comes down to.
It's just nice to work next to him. It's nice to get along with the people you work next to. It's nice to know that the people you work next to have your back. It's nice to know that, you know, in a pinch I can call him and say, I need some help, can you help me? And he'd be right there for me. It just lifts your spirits, you know.
Glenn's a very good guy, and I'm proud to know him.
You do the things because you have a passion for it. If you do it, you do it well, maybe you'll get paid. If you do it, you do it well long enough, maybe you're paid well for it. If you're never paid, at least you have the pleasure of the doing. And hopefully you stay in the game long enough, something will hit for you. People many times will say, oh, what's your inspiration? And I say, only an amateur has the luxury of inspiration. A professional gets up and goes to work every day. You just try to seek opportunity. You say yes first, find out what you said yes to. Opportunity only asks once. You find out how to do it, or you find somebody that can. You don't say no, especially when you're starting out, because nobody wants to be your first. I tell people life is not a dress rehearsal. It's the only show they give you. You got to get your act together before the train pulls out. I'm on autopilot. I have no idea what I just said.
Skilly boom, yeah. Skilly boom, yeah. Gonna boys play the blues, yeah.
Did you tape any of that?
A little bit, yeah.
Good. Kudos.
Oh, I didn't know we were.